Hey, what's going on, everyone? Fire Ice Talon here again. We're gonna go over warrior builds this time. Just like with the rogue video that I made, we're gonna look at what I run with a warrior here this time. Just as before, this is only gonna concern itself with PVM builds. I'm gonna show you guys how I play the warrior class now, all the different builds that I run. Probably even more builds than on my rogue. It's pretty numerous, the different ways you can play a warrior, and you got various two-hand builds, high AC builds. Regarding that, you can play a two-handed warrior, high AC or low AC. A standard shield build with a high AC or low AC. There's Bloodslayer, as a lot of people like to run on Trist these days, and Sivir's Cudgel, which I personally like a lot as well. I generally don't run two-handed builds. I mean, I've played two-handed before, and it's just not my thing, really. I mean, to each their own. I find it to be, it's challenging, but it's also very tedious, in my opinion. And I think the way that Blizz designed two-handed weapons in general, I think they're pretty underpowered for the amount of things you have to sacrifice to use them. Not only do you lose blocking, but, because you can't use a shield, you lose a slot for resistances and mana and things like that. In addition to not being able to block, you lose armor class. So the way two-handed weapons were designed, like a great axe is 12 to 30 damage base. I mean, that's twice as much as a bastard sword. But an axe is also a lot slower in addition to that. So it's just my opinion that Blizz did not make two-handed weapons as powerful as they should have been for what you have to give up in order to use one. But with that said, let's get into it. So we have Silmaril here. This is my main warrior that I've had for many years now. And let's take a look here. At my just a regular standard high AC build that I run if I want to play high AC warrior. Okay, so Royal Circlet is pretty much the standard helm for most classes for most builds, with the exception of a few. 10 all attributes, 40 mana, 40 base armor. This is a great helm whether you're running high or low AC. But especially if you're running high AC, because of that armor boost. This is just a no-brainer, pretty much, to use this in the helm slot. You could use Godder on all melee levels, as I explained in my rogue video. But the thing is, when you start getting high-level characters like this, and you start acquiring a mass amount of items and you're playing PvP also and that kind of thing, inventory is an issue. So I wouldn't carry a Godder on me just because it's such a specialized item that I would just stick with RC. And even though it's not maybe quite as good, like if you're facing like that rare occasion where you get all Knights and Drakes, it's good enough still. And it's better for most other things. So the inventory space is more valuable to me than being able to run maybe a slightly better choice in a very circumstantial situation. So I stick with RC for the helm slot in most occasions. An interesting one though for warrior is the armor slot, especially regarding high AC. Typically, for most high-level warriors that you see, you're going to see people running Awesome Lion or Tiger, some sort of HP armor, or maybe Awesome Stars. A lot of people don't think to run this, though, an Awesome Plate of Sorcery. And if you don't cast a lot, you probably don't want to run an Awesome Plate of Sorcery if you're not casting a lot. If you're playing your warrior, as a warrior is thought of in Diablo as being a pure melee fighter, then Awesome Sorcery is probably not the choice for you. You probably want to run Awesome Lion or Stars if you can find one. But with my style of play, I cast a lot with all classes. even on warrior. So I like the choice of awesome sorcery because raising your mat with warriors, every magic stat counts. And if we take a look here, with this particular build, I'll get into the rest of the items in a minute, but let's look at my magic stat here for a moment. I have 140 with this awesome source plate on, 140 magic. If I was running awesome stars, I would have only 131, assuming that stars has 11 all attributes. Now, that may not seem like a big difference, but it really is. If I run awesome stars with this same exact build, I'd say my fireball probably connects on Black Knights and Snow Witches maybe 65 to 70% of the time. And that's with 131 magic. Now with awesome sorcery, I would say that 9 extra points to magic probably brings that percentage up to you're probably looking at 80 plus percent accuracy when casting a fireball. So that's quite a difference. And because I cast a lot, that's what I roll with. And the loss of HP and a few points damage really doesn't mean too much. You gain a little bit of mana too using awesome sorcery. 9 mana, it's not a whole lot, but the main thing is the magic attribute. It really does make a big difference, even over stars. And a perfect one here, you'd only be losing a couple AC from a perfect awesome stars. You would get maybe 2 armor class more running stars, it's really nothing. The maximum beneficial AC you can achieve with a level 50 character is 285 AC anyway. Anything over that is a waste. So with 273, you're not too far off from the maximum beneficial AC. And with 140 magic, you can really take out... The warrior actually becomes a pretty dang good caster with an awesome plate of sorcery. So that's my choice. You don't see that too often on the warriors. Let's go to the shield slot. Now, for me, this shield never comes off. Emerald Shield of the Tiger. This is the one item he has that never ever comes off. I have plenty of nice, awesome Tiger shields that would give me a ton of AC, but when you're level 50 and you have the 20 base armor on an Emerald Tiger shield, and if your plate's good enough, you really don't need to run Awesome Tiger. And just like with Rogue, with Emerald Heavens, Emerald Shield of the Tiger also frees up a jewel slot for mana. So you're going to be getting, and especially with my style, with my casting style, I want all the mana I can get. So this shield is very useful for that. And just in general, even if you're not a caster, I would still recommend running Emerald Tiger as your shield slot on warrior, just because there's not a better shield in the game for a warrior. And if you're lucky enough to find, shop work for a perfect Holy Tiger, great. It's probably fun to use, and it gives you massive AC. But then you have to, use 2 jewels for resists, and you lose a lot of mana. I guess if you're not casting a lot, if you're playing your warrior in a much more standard melee way as a warrior was intended to be played, then maybe you want to run with an AC shield instead. But I just prefer an Emerald Tiger also because the moment you dropped a low AC, you put a low armor plate on, an awesome Shield of the Tiger is going to be useless to you anyway. So, and you're going to want to slap on an Obsidian or Emerald Shield of the Tiger. So I just run with Emerald Shield of the Tiger all the time, regardless of what build I'm playing. That never comes off. For the weapon, again here, you can switch off. For most levels, you can use a Kingsword of Vampires and get Mana Steal. And this is really good if you're a caster like me, because if you're casting a lot and you're burning through mana, you can leech it back so quickly with a Kingsword of Vampires. And with a level 50 warrior, with the damage you do, you're going to leech it back really fast. So you can do whole levels without using a single pot and still cast a lot. If you're facing mages, though, unfortunately, then you have to switch to a King Sword of Speed or Haste to achieve stun lock on them. And sometimes on witch levels, especially a tri-level, it's pretty useful to use vampires to telekill. The only thing is, I found that witches often escape stun lock when you're using a slower speed weapon, so you may want to switch to a King Sword of Speed or Haste on levels like that. That's the only thing. But generally you're going to be using King Sword of Haste and King Sword of Vampires as your primary weapon for most builds. For jewelry, to complete your resistances, you run with an Obsidian Jewel of some sort. Obsidian Zodiac is ideal, as you see here. If you can't get an Obsidian Jewel of the Zodiac for a while, which tends to be the case for many newer players, it's going to be a while before you start finding good prefixed Zodes, unless you get really, really lucky. You might be able to get, a single prefixed Zode, a single resist prefix Zode, or you might get Obsidian Heavens or Obsidian Wiz or something like that. Obsidian Heavens and Wiz are fairly rare, but they're a little easier to find than an Obsidian Zodiac, so you might have to settle for those until you can get good prefix Zodies. And then Dragon's Jewel of the Zodiac on your other two slots, as you can see here. So you get a really nice mana pool with Warrior here. In my particular case, 347, which is huge. That's the standard high AC build I like to run if I'm playing high AC. If I'm playing a low AC build, we'll change to what I play with low AC. I play low AC on Warrior more often than I do high. So I'll show you what I'm running in PVM with low AC. I take off the Awesome Source, and we roll with Obsidian Stars, and now I'm getting resist on my armor slot, so that means I can switch out my Obsidian Zodiac amulet for Dragon Zodiac. And now here, 528 HP, 396 mana, massive damage. This is the all-around build. This is pretty much the standard build to run as low AC warrior when you're playing, or what we call Law. Maybe you want to switch, if you're playing low AC, maybe you want to use King's Haste or Speed, so you can stun lock and kill things a lot quicker, especially if you're facing melee foes and you have to kind of kill things quicker so you don't get overwhelmed. Like if you're facing big packs of drakes and knights and stuff, you want to kill them pretty quickly. But you can switch back between speed and vampires too, as you need to leech back your mana, especially because even as low AC, like I said, I still cast a lot, even as a low AC warrior. Maybe not as much, because when you're playing low AC, the gameplay dynamic changes a bit. But that's the basic low AC setup. You could also run, Obsidian Source as well, or you could even do this. Go Obsidian Mammoth if you want a higher HP value. This actually is a really good build. If you're not going to be casting a lot, if you want to stick with melee as your focus and you don't want to do too much casting, you're probably just best off running, Obsidian Mammoth armor for the armor slot rather than Obsidian Source or Stars or something like that. Because then you get a little bit of an HP boost there. 586 HP is nice, and you still got 385 mana with this gear here. I run these builds pretty frequently. I use Stars more just because, like I said, I cast a lot, so I use Stars more. But if you're not going to use Stars, then Obsidian, or if you're not going to cast, then Obsidian Mammoth is the go-to. That's probably, in my opinion, the best in slot for armor. Another fun thing to play with Warrior is the Sivurp's Cudgel build. Sivurp's Cudgel is this unique mace here, 200% damage to demons. Now what you might not know is, if you're new, to Diablo or new to playing warrior, this 200 damage versus demons doesn't just apply to your weapon. That applies your total character damage to your to the target. So if we equip it right now, 166 to 173, multiply that times 3, and that is the damage you would be doing to foes that are of a demon type. And that doesn't include the warrior's inherent critical hit, which doubles your damage. So you're looking, you can easily 1 to 2 shot things with Sivrb's Cudgel equipped. It does only work versus demons. And another drawback, and I should mention this now, look at my to hit, 118. That's not going to cut it in hell. You have to equip some gold jewels to achieve this, to achieve the necessary to hit to be able to make Sivrb's effective. It doesn't matter how much damage you do if you're not hitting anything. So you're going to need some gold jewels of some type, which means a huge loss of mana, unfortunately, and you're not going to be doing much casting. But if you want to play an all-melee build, this is definitely a great one to go with. You need to equip some gold jewels. Now, some people say you can get away with 2 gold jewels here to get auto hit on your foes, but it's been my experience that 3 just simply works much better. I found with 2 gold jewels that you still miss quite often, more than you would like. And if you're running a high AC build, if you got all melee foes and you're running high AC with a Sivrb's Cudgel, you're going to be almost invincible, because you're going to slaughter everything with high AC. They're not going to be able to hit you often. You're going to be able to one-shot them all. But the true interesting way to play Sivrb's is with a low AC build, like here. Now, you have only 202 mana, so that's still pretty decent. But what you can do is, you can swap out Sivrb's for Kingsword of Vampires in situations where your mana's low, and you can steal back you can leech back any mana that you've expended, either by healing or casting some sort of offensive spell. 498 HP is a bit low, so when I'm running Sivrb's with low AC, I actually prefer to go to the Obsidian Mammoth armor. And even though I'm losing some little more mana and some damage, with Sivrb's the damage, like I said, does not matter at all. You know, you're going to be one-shotting, two-shotting almost everything anyways. So it's probably better just to get more HP and make yourself a little more solid. You're not going to be doing too much casting with 103 magic, obviously. I've heard some people say you can run like a gold whiz or something if you want to hire a magic attribute so you can cast more accurately. The only thing is, I mean, Gold Wiz, you're looking at 15 magic more per jewel, but then you got to be careful about, you only got 110 dexterity as it is. Against Blood Knights, you're already losing perfect block. If you're using 3 gold heavens, I think you have perfect block against pretty much everything else, as far as I know. I'd have to look at the chart again and see how much dex you need versus the various monsters in Hell. But I know versus Blood Knights, you're losing perfect block as it is. But it really doesn't matter, because you're killing so fast with Sivrb's, like, you probably don't need perfect block. But you do want to keep some block. And if you're switching out Gold Heavens for Obsidian Wiz because you want to cast more, you're going to lose a ton of dex. And you're probably not going to gain enough magic points to make yourself a truly effective caster as you would with Zodiac Jewels and an awesome Source Plate. It's just, you're not gonna be able to reach 140 magic, at least not without losing like basically all your dex, HP, chance to hit. So I wouldn't advise it. I would just stick with the Gold Heavens. Maybe you can swap out, you know, 1 gold heavens for a gold perfection if you want more to hit, or if you want better block if you're facing like Blood Knights or something. But I've found that gold heavens is perfectly sufficient for this build. Sometimes let me show you something here. When I go on dungeon level 16, I usually don't carry an Obsidian Mammoth armor on me. It's not one of my primary items I use a lot, because I only play CC every once in a while. As much as I like it, I only do it occasionally. On level 16, I like to run this build, Ruby Whale, and just go, with a higher... I found that you're not going to be doing a lot of casting on level 16, just because Advocates are triple immune, and Blood Knights are very highly resistant to fire, so you're probably better off. And they have an automatic 25% chance to hit, by the way, on level 16 Blood Knights, so you're just better off running low AC with high HP, good mana. All you need is the max fire resistance. And this is the ideal build for level 16, in my opinion. I carry Ruby Whale on me anyway for PvP situations. Sometimes also, if I just want to get more HP in general, and I don't have the Obsidian Mammoth on me, like I said, I imported this in just specifically for this video. I don't normally carry my Obsidian Mammoth armor on me, but if I want like higher HP, maybe I do carry the Obsidian Helm of the Mammoth on me, so I might run that sometimes for more HP. That's another good law build. But generally, my favorite build to run most of the time when I'm playing Warrior is this one. Just your basic Obsidian Stars, RC, Emmy Tiger, King's Haste or Vampires, 3 Dragon Zodiacs. That's what I run most of the time, or if I'm going in the rare situation I want to go high AC. There you have it once again, awesome sorcery with Obsidian Zode. These are the various builds I run when I play Warrior. There's plenty more builds you could play from, and there's all kinds of two-handed builds out there. And you can, like I said, the armor slot is so flexible in the Warrior, whether you're playing low or high AC. I hope this was informative for you guys. I will do the Sorcerer tutorial last. See you guys on Battle.net. Take care.